Hello, friends, and welcome into the TexAgs Rewind. Yo soy David Nuno. We've got Matt Browning in the house.
Hola.
Kevin Ross in the house. Kelly Adams in the house. And before we go and introduce Luke Evangelist, I just did basically, I want to say that this show is probably one of the most contentious shows I've been a part of. All right, and I'm appalled, dismayed, I think, if that's the right way to phrase it. Early on the show, Luke, who's our brand new social center guy, you can show him for a second. He went after Richard Zane, and he went after the head of publishing. Then on this show, these three knuckleheads could not stop talking about his mustache. That is not a way that I want to start a beautiful partnership, guys.
1995, Rafael Palmeiro.
Except he doesn't even know who Rafael Palmeiro is.
He doesn't even know who it is. We told him to Google it, and he goes, oh, baseball. I don't know much about baseball.
The guy's got like 50% votes for the Hall of Fame, and if he wasn't doing roids, he might have more. But there you go.
Luke, are you familiar with Tom Selleck?
Yeah.
You're more of a Tom Selleck guy to me.
Oh, thank you.
Nah, the haircut goes Palmeiro.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I don't know. Tom Selleck, Hawaii. That was the name of the show. Magnum PI.
Magnum
Come
PI.
on.
I mean, he almost looks like Benny
Luke's
the
is more
Jet
feathered.
Rodriguez.
All right.
He looks like Benny the
Benny
Jet
the Jet
Rodriguez.
Yeah. That's
From
another good
Sandlot.
one.
Yeah.
Luke, I want you to remember
He's going to go
that
pickle
I have
the
not
beast this afternoon.
I have not once spoken about your appearance on the show. Just remember that. These guys, they're fair game now. All right, let's talk about what we had on the show today. Destin, Florida. That's the place. You know who's there in a Speedo?
Who's there?
Olin Buchanan.
Olin Buchanan.
OB.
In a
Nice,
Speedo.
OB.
We talked to OB about the latest there at the SEC spring meetings. We had Stephen McGee on the program. We had Kevin Von Erich.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Had I warned you, could have worn the shirt.
I wish
would
you'd
have.
give me a heads up next time.
Yeah.
And these guys, we call them the fan show guys.
I play
And
second fiddle. It's okay.
I don't know how to respond to that. Check it
It's
out.
the truth.
Obi, one of the most recent columns you wrote, Honor Amongst Thieves, coaches talk tampering at SEC spring meetings. And I guess the tampering is about this transfer and the way that these coaches kind of describe how tampering is being played, how the game is being played right now, which for a lot of programs is the illegal way of doing it.
Well, Jimbo has made some references to it, though not necessarily directly. There have been times you've been in those press conferences where you ask about, whom they may be going after in the transfer portal, and he says a lot of guys know where they're going before they get in the transfer portal. Now, how is that? We saw the story last year of Dalton Kincaid, who was a first-round pick, I think, of the Buffalo Bills, the tight end from Utah.
Yep.
There was a report out that he had been contacted and offered $1 million NIL deal to transfer to Alabama. I never saw anyone dispute that. So, I don't think Nick Saban got on the phone and got in touch with someone, a representative of Dalton Kincaid or Dalton Kincaid, and say, hey, if you come to Alabama, if you transfer here, we can get you $1 million. But somebody apparently did, and I would be skeptical that if that did in fact happen, that it was done without the knowledge of the coaching staff. Because what if that coaching staff doesn't think they need a Dalton Kincaid, and he shows up and says, hey, I'm ready to transfer for this $1 million. And they say, we don't have a spot for you, right?
Right.
And it was Pat Narduzzi, Pitt coach, that called out Lincoln Riley when Jordan Addison, who had won the Bolitnikoff Award a couple of years ago, and then after that great season, he says, I think I'm going to transfer, and just so happened to be going to USC. And
I don't know if you've seen this. LSU has air-conditioned helmets, and so Mr. Savage said, this should be your bull crap this week. And I started looking at it, and it is, the title is "Cooler Heads Will Prevail," and so, but I guess my thought is, I thought football was supposed to be tough, right? I thought it was a tough guys game. And I feel like the further along we get, the softer these players become. They want more pampered treatment off the field with NIL contracts and guaranteed, being able to play. They don't want to earn anything. And now we have to have air-conditioned helmets. I guess they run for 5 hours. And I I don't know. Does it seem a little bit too soft for you for football perspective?
Well, it does, and I think we all go back to our day, right? So I remember when I was playing, and again, I didn't play at your level at all, not even close. But when I played high school ball, our gym was like in the back of the stadium. It was like gross, and it was awesome at the same time, right? Now these gyms are like you're going into like a fitness facility. It's like a different level, and I kind of miss the Rocky style of training, going through the heat 2-a-days during the summer, 100 degrees in July and August, getting ready for the football season. We don't have that anymore, and I understand why we don't. I mean, I get it, but I still miss it, and that's what football was to me.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like we're walking into a gym like Orange Theory as opposed to going into Average Joe's gym, right? You got to suffer a little bit. It builds a little character. It builds, it makes you a little bit, I don't know. A lot of the memories you have as an athlete are the days when it sucked the most. And it was the most hot. It was the most humid. And I just feel like we're getting softer and softer. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong. But it's just a matter of time before everybody has air-conditioned helmets. I can only imagine.
What was your favorite rivalries? The Ric Flair, Chris Adams, the Fabulous Freebirds, all of them I'm sure have a special place in your heart.
Oh man. Well, Vice TV was here a few days ago and they just left. And I talked about Chris Adams all day. They were doing a show on Chris. And, I thought I knew Chris pretty well. We traveled together and I did know Chris. I thought I saw a lot of good in Chris Adams. But he was tough. Chris could fight, loved to fight, and knew judo, combat judo. His brother was a silver medalist in the Olympics, Neil Adams over in England, about 180 pounds, but he's tight and he's a good athlete. And Chris had been brought up in the athletic lifestyle, where you devote yourself. He did it too, like us. You do the same thing every day. You're working out, you're eating, you're running, you're swimming, but everything is centered toward getting better. And Chris was like that. And he's a really good judo man. And we had some really hard fights in the ring. I say fights, it's a measured response. We're on television, but we found that when you wrestle and you pour your guts into it, just like it's a football game, man, the ratings go crazy. And so we like to do it like that. And Chris, this is what I admire about him. He wouldn't have, a lot of guys, they would want to do it like that. They complain, what we would find young go-getters, guys, they went to the WWE. Most of our guys went on up to the, and are still, big stars today because there are guys that were willing to go a little beyond, not just take your check, but get in the ring and go all out. And, there's going to be some pissed off feelings maybe in the dressing room later, or not dressing room, but whatever. But people respect you, and it gets better and better until there's 2 or 3 more guys want to be like that, and more and more. And man, the show gets better and better.
All right, Brownie, I'm going to start things off with you
Thank
because
you.
you demanded it.
Thank you. All right. So I wanted to jump into something which could carry this entire thing. So so right now the big talk is the schedule.
Yep.
Okay. Schedule. So from a fan's perspective, and this is the fan show, I wanted to at least put my opinion out there. I love, so here's the things that I like about it. First and foremost, I think with either 8-game or 9-game, I think you're going to be able to see what we want. We want to see more games. Georgia's never been here. We've never been to Kentucky. We would not have ever been to Tennessee if it hadn't been for the COVID year. That was an odd little deal. This would be our first time to Tennessee this season. So I want to see more of those games against some of those East teams and things of that nature, right? So I think that will kind of work itself out with either schedule. And I do not want to lose the LSU game. I just don't. I think LSU is important. But I will say, and please understand, I think anyone that's spoken to me or listened to our show knows that I absolutely loathe the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah.
There's no one that I dislike more than the Texas Longhorns. But if we're going to be in the same conference with them, I want to play them every year. I don't want to do an every 2-year deal. I do not want that to happen. I want to play them every year. And even with the fact that, and I will be the first, I will admit it, which I know a lot of Aggies won't, but I will admit the fact that the pain of losing to Texas is far greater than the joy of beating them in a lot of cases, just because they're just the worst. Oh, I hate those guys. But I still want to play them every year because I think for a long time, I really do. And I'm about to get psychological, all right, here on our mindset towards them.
Like pay a copay here.
We might. So
Okay.
I'm not sure. He's already got. He's about to get over my head. I think.
So
There
I think what happened for so many years is that, and I hate to say it, that inferiority complex that a lot of us had when it came to them. I think that this move to the SEC and us being away for 10 years allowed us to see that there are much bigger fish to fry out there. There are much bigger goals than just beating Texas every year.
Gentlemen, why don't you guys ask Luke what he's supposed to do?
Luke, what are we supposed to do at the end of this?
You are supposed to like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends.
Thank you very much.
He left. You got to click the notification bell so you never miss another tip.
Did he share? Did he say share? I think I missed the share on there.
I don't know. I don't think anybody watches this part of the show anyway.
Yeah, they're always gone by now.
So see you next time.
See ya.